Seeds of Wisdom RV and Economic Updates Saturday morning, December 14, 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Good morning Dinar recaps. BRICS News. Calls to move away from the US dollar is growing. A handful of developing countries are inspired by the BRICS alliance to ditch the US dollar for cross-border transactions. Emerging economies are taking cues from the bloc to de-dollarize their economies and make local currencies the sole beneficiary for payments. The calls to cut ties with the US dollar are growing and the White House is unable to clamp it down. BRICS members China, Russia, and Iran are advancing the de-dollarization initiative by pushing local currencies ahead for trade. The move is adding pressure on the greenback's prospects as it could lose out on the demand and supply dynamics. They are also diversifying their central bank reserves by adding gold and other currencies and commodities. BRICS advancing to end US dollar's supremacy. The central banks of BRICS and other developing countries are diversifying their reserves, giving the US dollar a run for their money. By diversifying their holdings reserves into a more multi-currency sort of portfolio, perhaps they can reduce that pressure on their external sectors, said Cedric Shahab from Fitch Solutions to CNBC. As BRICS member China's influence is growing, it is also setting the stage for the de-dollarization agenda to grow rapidly. As China's economic might continues to rise, that means that it'll exert more influence in global financial institutions and trade, he said. He said, another benefit for countries moving away from the US dollar as the middleman in bilateral trade. BRICS countries could benefit if they trade in local currencies as it'll help them move up the value chain. Trading in local currencies allows exporters and importers to balance risks, have more options to invest, to have more certainty about the revenues and sales, said former Brazilian ambassador to China, Marcos Caramuru. Japan's lawmaker proposes national Bitcoin RESERV. Black small square Japanese lawmaker proposes a national Bitcoin reserve. Black small square states can effortlessly create reserves for Bitcoin. Black small square MicroStrategy holds a significant portion of the BTC supply. Name similarity becomes intriguing in this development. Recently, a Japanese lawmaker presented a new proposal. As you may recall, several months ago, statements emerged from the Trump camp, led by Lummis, advocating for the US government to establish a Bitcoin reserve. This proposal even evolved into a legislative bill. Satoshi and the Bitcoin reserve idea. Trump appointed someone to organize cryptocurrency efforts at the White House before taking office in January. This individual will also work to realize the Bitcoin reserve concept. Today, Japanese parliament member Satoshi Hamada has taken steps to create a national Bitcoin reserve. Satoshi Hamada, sharing the name with Satoshi Nakamoto, believes that his country should establish its strategic Bitcoin reserve before the US implements this idea. Recently, Russian President Putin mentioned that Bitcoin would not be obstructed. National Bitcoin Reserve. States can easily create reserves for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with minimal effort. The fact that even Federal Reserve members, including the president, view Bitcoin as an asset competing with gold, explains our current situation well. Governments already possess vast gold reserves and can similarly create reserves for Bitcoin, often referred to as digital gold. MicroStrategy, Mara, Riot, BlackRock, and thousands of companies have begun to hold BTC in their reserves. The world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, has thousands of ETF customers indirectly holding BTC through its IBIT BTC ETF product. Every week, we read news about institutions purchasing billions of dollars in BTC. Many companies are adding Bitcoin to their reserves to improve stock performance and increase share prices. With MicroStrategy being the most advanced player in this regard, it has grown significantly, with a strong likelihood of being added to the Nasdaq 100 in March. MSTR alone holds approximately 2% of the BTC supply. The total BTC held by ETF issuers, governments, private and public companies, BTC miners, and DeFi platforms is valued at $292 billion, representing 13.81% of the BTC supply. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.